Very African.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the show. This is The Couch. My name is Pratt. Today being a Thursday is the Hard Talk edition of the show. And today we are going to have a very important conversation that borders on our national development, right at the heart of our national development. Let's do a little bit of history. So on July 28, 1992, there was a certificate of registration that was issued by the then interim Electoral Commissioner of Ghana, Justice Josiah Boateng, and this certificate was issued to the very first national chairman of the NPP, lawyer B.J. Darocha. In essence, what that means is that today, July 28, 2022, the new Patriotic Party is 30 years old. 30 years old. Now, today's conversation essentially is themed the new Patriotic Party 30 years on. That's our conversation for this evening. 30 years on, new Patriotic Party, it's gone ahead to lead this country. Today, that is our government, in power. How has the NPP grown? Has it grown? Has it matured into a 30-year-old vibrant entity that is managing our affairs well? The NPP going forward, how is it going to advance? Is it going to mature even more beautifully? Is it deteriorating? This is our conversation for this evening. And I have been very, very, very privileged to do this conversation with no less a person than the Honorable Adeyinimo. I'll take that again. The Honorable Francis Adeyinimo. He is the former MP for Mampon constituency. He's a former flag bearer aspirant of the New Patriotic Party. I dare say he's a current flag bearer aspirant of the New Patriotic Party. Yeah, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Amma, for having me for the second time on your show, The Couch.
Yes, and it's always a pleasure, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure.
So I hope that you will not quiz me so much.
I will try. But, I will try to quiz you very, very hard.
Offer you the appropriate responses.
Thank you so much. Okay, so 30 years old.
Yeah.
Are you proud of this 30-year-old?
Well, one can describe it that it's been a mixed feeling, The party in 1992, during the transition from the then military government of the Provisional National Defense Council, PNDC, headed by Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, in that transition to multi-party constitutional democracy, and then the tradition of the UP, which had the Popular Front Party, PFP, and the United Convention Party, UNC, in 1979, came together for the formation of the new Patriotic Party. So today, the NPP is 30 years. And for 30 years in the life of a party, well, we have come far. They say life begins at 40. So I'm sure for the next decade, we will see how the party will transform for its life to actually begin. Well, I'm proud because we have sustained our democracy with the participation, the full participation, inclusion of the new Patriotic Party as an effective and efficient organization. So our democracy could not be sustained and successful at this stage without mentioning the new Patriotic Party. So under the first national chairman, the famous lawyer B.J. Darocha, who was the first national chairman of the party, and a very principled man, and straightforward, forthright in his submissions. One can describe him as a no-nonsense man. So with his leadership, together with the first General Secretary, Mr. Ejenim Boateng, who happened to come from my hometown, Mampong, the first General Secretary, and then the first National Treasurer, Honorable Hackman Usu Ajima, who is still alive. So these were the three national officers, together with all the other founding members who signed the document of registration with the EC from all the districts. And I know former President Kufuor is also a founding member. He represented the Achema district in Ashanti region at that time.
At that time?
Yes. You needed to have one representative from each district of Ghana at that time. So there are some other founding members who are still alive, but I guess that most of them have passed on into the other world. So it has been a party that has grown from 1992. If you have followed us from 92, our strength generally happened to be in the Ashanti and the eastern regions.
Absolutely.
Of the party. But over the period, you could see that we have grown to all the regions and increased our strength in all the regions. If you examine the 1992 election results, 1996 election results, the year 2000 election results, all the way to the last general elections of 2020. So the party has grown. And then today, we are in government. We have formed government for 4 terms under the this fourth Republican constitutional government, whilst our major competitors, the National Democratic Congress, have also formed 4 governments. And so we are at a par.
You're at a par now. Now the NDMPP, yes, in terms of being in government are at a par.
So right, it is 2024 that will determine
the determining factor.
Who will take the lead.
Absolutely. So let's get into the issues there. And I, as you were speaking, I was jotting down a few things. So in terms of democracy, I think that the average Ghanaian would credit the NPP with that. I mean, no two ways about it. The NPP is a very vibrant political party in opposition. Sure. In opposition, I grant that, hands down. You know, I'll be the last person to ever take that away from the NPP. Demonstrations, activism, you know, all of these things. And the NPP is a very formidable opponent if it's in opposition. However, say, forgive me, permit me, in government, I don't think that the NPP does well.
Oh, well, I will disagree with you. And I will say that both in government and in opposition, we do what we have to do. Of course, there will be some differences in the attitude of members, because the party is made up of individual members.
Right.
So, whilst we are in government, perhaps the benefits and the attractions associated with being in government could also influence the attitude and behaviors of some individuals in the party who may hold positions. But you know what? Once you are in opposition, you need the strength of the party. Right. And that lies with the unity of the party. And so everybody will come on board. Right. Then once you come to government, because it is not possible to satisfy every individual member of the party. Just to say, it is not possible to achieve 100% satisfaction across board for members of the party. You may tend to see some differences in attitude and in behaviors of members. So that is how. But whether we are in government or we are in opposition, we have been a strong, formidable organization, political organization. And you know the aim the constitution of the party, which had a foreword that was written, or which is credited to the renowned J.B. Dankwa.
Right.
It says that the aim of the party is to liberate the energies of the people for the growth of a property-owning democracy in the land, with right to life, justice, and freedom.
So property owning,
democracy,
justice,
with right to life, justice, and freedom.
Right to life and freedom.
Yes.
Okay, so let's stay here for a little bit. Are we achieving this purpose as a political party? I'll take justice.
Yes.
I'll take justice there. The average Ghanaian today, and I mean, you can sample the views across board, you know, especially with this particular administration, this particular one, you know, the attitude towards justice, rule of law, things like that, very questionable, shockingly so. Shockingly so. I could give countless examples. We could start all the way from the Ayawaso by-elections with everything that happened. Yeah. We could talk about all the demonstrations that have happened, you know, and the attitude of, you know, the judiciary,
ensuring justice,
government,
by ensuring justice,
and all that. We could speak to so many examples that have not been handled well, you know, under this administration, and like I'm saying, shockingly so, because it's right here in black and white as to the ideals of the New Patriotic Party.
Well, Amma, you know what? Life follows a certain mathematical formula, and which we describe it as sinusoidal. Sinusoidal. If you have done maths, and those who have done science and cos theta, sine theta, and all those, what it means is that on your birth, you rise, and you get to the apex. At the apex, either you keep or you maintain it.
Plateau.
Yes, you achieve a plateau. Or there will be a decline. And then you can come back to your lowest point. And then the lessons that you may learn from that lowest point will also help you to regrow. So this is how I will explain the circumstances that we will find ourselves as a party. So we have grown, we have become so big as a family.
Yes.
You know, we have become attractive to almost every corner. And permit me to say, the party has become attractive to every ethnic group in this country. Volta region, which used to be our Waterloo, we have seen, I mean, substantial progress in our numbers, in the attraction of the elephant with the colors red, white, blue. So
that you are so beautifully adorning today.
Yeah, today I'm in that because of the 30th anniversary, which is today, and the party is holding a media engagement. So, I mean, I'm showing it to be proud that I'm a member. And so, we having grown perhaps to our apex, maybe we have allowed certain unpleasant tenets to, some, as we say, have some effect in the image of the party. But amongst the duties of every member of the party is that we must protect the good image and name of the party. We must protect the unity of the party. And then we should not bring the reputation or we should not bring the image of the party into disrepute. These are all enshrined in our constitutional provisions of the party.
Right.
So it's a lesson for all of us. Sure, you can see maybe some differences in the approach of Kufuor-led MPP administration.
True.
And President Akufo-Addo's led MPP administration. And I see there are differences in leadership style. Okay. The party is not distancing itself from the members, from individuals, because individuals will constitute the party. So if today I'm assuming you are a member of MPP and you isolate yourself, yes, our strength has decreased. As a political party, we have a decrease in our strength, our numerical strength. So we must ensure that we stay together. But leadership styles differ from one person to another person. So how we handle ourselves. So if you want to do the comparison, that is what I would say, that perhaps we have followed that sinusoidal curve. 30 years, we have gone to the apex. Maybe we have come to the lowest point. We will have the opportunity to also rise as a party.
Right. Okay. So let's digress a little bit. Let's come to today. The MPP just had its, elections.
Yep.
New national executives, have been elected very recently. So it's led by Mr. Stephen Intim as chairperson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 fresh national executives there. Are you confident that these new executives are the ones to redeem the image of the MPP today?
Well, the image of the party, if it's even somehow tainted, is redeemed over a period. So everybody must contribute his or her quota in redeeming maybe the tainted image. Okay. And as I say, it is normal. It is normal. I mean, it is not abnormal to have a period in life where you can receive, you can come so low in terms of your image. It is normal. I believe in these national officers who have been elected. They are just less than 2 weeks old in office. The new national chairman, Mr. Stephen Intim, made a 5th attempt and then became successful to be the chairman.
5 attempts?
Yes, his first attempt was in 2005, where there was a keen contest between him and the former chairman, Peter McMenu. And Peter McMenu won in 2005. Then his second attempt was also against Jake Otanka Obechebi, and Jake also won. His third attempt was in a key contest where we had Paul Afoko, Fred Owari, Jake Otanka Obechebi, the late, who was then seeking a re-election, and Mr. Intim in 2014 in Tamale. And there too, Mr. Afoko won. And his 4th attempt was at Koforidua in 2018. And there, Mr. Freddie Blay also won. So this is his 5th attempt, which has been successful.
5 is the lucky number.
Yeah, so for
5 is the lucky number.
Sure. So for 17 years, he had pursued this ambition for 17 good years. And it has now materialized. So he has a huge responsibility.
Absolutely.
One, to ensure the unity of the party. 2, to promote the image of the party. And 3, which in my opinion will give him the gold, is to ensure that the party prosecutes and successfully win the 2024 elections, the general elections, by breaking the 8, which is our slogan.
Okay. Okay.
Once he does that, then all the struggles for the past 17 years that he has gone through, the bitterness, you know, the low levels, all the defeats, the previous 4 defeats that he encountered, at least once he wins the 2024 elections under his leadership, then in the Guinness Books of Record of the New Patriotic Party, his name will be written in gold.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So he has a huge response. All that I'm driving at is that Mr. Steve Yesu in team.
Right.
Mind you, he has been a former national vice chairman. Prior to he contesting for the national chairmanship in 2005, he was a former national vice chairman. So he's very much aware of the intricacies of the party. The other elected officers, we have a young general secretary who will be turning 40 years, very vibrant Justin Frimpong Kudia. So I expect him to stay focused. He should just stay focused and do his work. He has a future. At this age that we have assumed the general secretaryship of the party, if he conducts himself well, he has a great future.
Do you think that the party made the right choice?
Well, once the decision has been made, that is the right choice. Absolutely.
Right.
Once the decision has been made.
Because he went up against D. John Wedu.
Yes, yes. Well, you know, it's always not easy to unseat an incumbent.
No, and especially not one that is that popular.
Yes. So sometimes, you know, the issue of popularity could be subjective.
Right.
It could be subjective.
Right.
And that is why I always believe that the unknown could always surprise the known. So prior to the election, at my various media engagements, I was asked the question, who is my preference? Who are those going to win? I said, there will be surprises. My answer was that there will be surprises. And sure, you know, so the young, vibrant General Secretary Kodia, he's been the Chief Executive of Youth Employment Agency for the past 5.5 years, or 5 years to 6 years. The experience that he has drawn from the public sector, working in the public sector as a head of a government agency, I think those experiences should help him in this role as a chief executive of the New Patriotic Party. And for me, my advice is that he stays focused, he goes by the principles of the party, he takes decisions based on principles. In case even he has to exercise discretion in any decision making, he must set out the procedure through which he will exercise that discretion, and not to be seen to be showing preferential treatment.
He shouldn't be a strong man. He should be a principled man.
No, strong man, he can be a strong man.
And I would say strong man versus structural man, where the structural man is the one that's following the rules and the strong man is the one that's using a lot of discretion.
Well, you know, Amma, this came from Obama when he was in Ghana, and he said we need to we need to build strong institutions. But the strong institutions are manned by strong men. So you need strong men to have strong institutions. And being a strong man is not just to say I am aggressive to exercise my muscles. You can be calm, you can be resolute, firm. Or is that the rules of engagement are upheld in all your operations. That makes you a strong person. So this is my advice to our General Secretary, Kodia. The other officers too are there. There are about 4 faces which who have maintained their positions or have taken different positions. They are the national organizer, who used to be the national youth organizer,
Henry Nana Boakye.
And then the national women's organizer, she maintained, Kate Jemfua.
Yes.
And then the national Nasara coordinator, Aziz Futa, he also maintained. And then Madam Rita Asobare, who dropped from the first vice, now she is the second vice.
That was very interesting. That election was very interesting.
Yes.
I was very surprised that, you know, somebody like
Bute.
Not even him. You'd be surprised the one I'm going to ask about. Mr. Omariwadie did it.
Yeah, Omariwadie lost out.
I was very surprised.
Well, that is part of the surprises. Yeah. So, in elections, the decisions by individuals whom to vote for will vary. Somebody may vote for you just because he has a personal acquaintance or relationship with you. Somebody may vote for you because he comes from the same geographical area with you. Somebody may vote for you because you are of the same profession. Somebody may vote for you because when you meet him or her, you smile. And you are accommodating. Somebody also may vote for you because he feels that your forehead well, that is just that maybe your forehead is attractive, so it's appealing. That is the appropriate word. Right. So there are so many considerations, you know. So, and you know what? Sometimes you also will lose out because of facial fatigue.
You're tired of you.
Yes, we want to see a new face. Well, that is it. Sometimes that is human nature. Right. We want to see a new crop of people, what they also can do, what they will bring on board.
And I think that this executive represents some newness.
Well, it's a mixture.
It's
so if you want to,
1, 2, 3, 4.
If you want to place it, maybe 60% new, 40% old. So that, I mean, overwhelmingly, I mean, people are, people gravitated towards the newness of faces that should come on board, so as to revitalize the energies of the party.
The position of a national organizer is very crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That was a keen contest between Nana Boakye, Henry Nana Boakye, and Honorable Titus Glover.
Yes.
And that was, I'm told, Titus won a couple of regions.
So more than the results. So Henry Nana Boakye had 2,870 votes. The Honorable Daniel Me Kwate Titus Glover had 2,274. So we are looking at a difference of about 600.
Yeah.
Actually, no, 406.
Yes.
406 votes.
You know, prior to the contest, from the social media point of view,
506.
Okay,
sorry.
From the social media point of view, from maybe the traditional media, I mean, the projection was that Nana Boakye was going to win overwhelmingly, resounding. But that was not the case. It showed that Titus worked hard on the ground, maybe without much fanfare from social media point of view and from the traditional media point of view, maybe getting close to people, to delegates in the various constituencies, articulating his views, what he would do as a national organizer. So that position was very keen. It was keenly contested. And so Nana Boakye has a lot of work to do.
But what personal attributes, you know, do you think that the national organizer should have?
Well, the national organizer, you should be able to arouse the energies of the people, you know, for organizational purposes in reaching out to the electorate towards the general elections. I mean, your job is not only to be on the podium for a national program of the party. Where yeah, no, that is not. That is far-fetched. That is far-fetched. You should be able to have a program to say that, look, the 38,622 or so polling stations in the country. We know for each polling station the total number of electorate. How many votes should we be able to get from each polling station for the national elections? And you, as a national organizer, must do all these arithmetics. Then you can task your regional organizers, your constituency organizers, who will also go and task the polling station organizers. That these are the figures. So if we come to a polling station located in Abelempe here, and we know that there are about 500 registered voters, and our target is that we must get maybe 300 votes during the general elections. You must give that target to your regional organizer, who will also pass it on, all the way to the polling station, where we have a polling station organizer. And then you say that, what do you need that will ensure that out of the 500 votes in this particular polling station, you should be able to garner 300 for the party. And then he will also come up and say that, I need these resources, I need that, we have to organize here, we have to organize there. So the duty of the national organizer is not just to be on the podium always and to be shouting Choboi. It goes
The job is on the ground.
Yes, the job is on the ground.
The job is absolutely on the ground.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Honorable, so many things to talk about.
Sure.
So many things to talk about. Okay. Let's take a break. Let's take a quick commercial break. Let our viewers drink some water, re-energize themselves. Honorable will drink some water. We'll come back. We'll talk about the 2022 elections and if this 30-year-old MPP is up and ready to break the 8. Stay with us.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
Welcome back to the show. My name is Pratt. This is The Couch. I'm in conversation with the Honorable Francis Adai Nimo. Today our conversation is on the New Patriotic Party, 30 years on. So we spent the first quarter of the show looking at the MPP, structure from when it started. We looked at the current leadership structure, the national executives of the party. Now we want to look at the NPP's readiness or preparedness for the 2024 elections. Now we are told that the plan is to break the 8. Honorable, do you think that you can break the 8? Looking at our present circumstances today, speak to any random Ghanaian, in fact, speak to NPP members, and the general feeling in the country is not one of confidence in the NPP. So how do you break the 8 on the back of that?
Okay. Well, Amma, thanks very much for this question, which is very crucial. I'll give answers that will show. First, it is a possibility.
Honorable, is it?
Yes. Why is it not a possibility? It is a possibility because man set himself a target to go to the moon.
Well.
And man went to the moon and came back.
True.
So breaking the 8, I always say it is possible. Then the next question would be, is it a conditional or unconditional possibility? And I say it is a conditional possibility.
Okay.
So let us disabuse our minds that it is not possible or it is impossible. It is possible with conditions. And I have come out with 3 conditions that as a party we must satisfy, work on those 3 conditions so that we can break the 8. Yeah, the feeling around the country is that, oh, it's 8-year cycle. 8-year cycle. So our major competitors, the NDC, are believing that they can make it in 2024. But you also know that in 2024, there will be first-time voters, and they may not be less than 1 million first-time voters. Those who have turned 18 since 2020 till now. They will have the opportunity to be registered by the Electoral Commission and they will vote. The conditions under which, in my view, we can break the 8 are as follows. 1, the internal cohesion of the party. That will give the strength of the party. So within the party members themselves, we must be so united. The internal cohesion cannot be compromised upon, because we can't go to the battlefield with a quarter of our strength or half of our strength. We need to galvanize the full strength of the party. And that is incumbent on the newly elected national officers to ensure that from now, and this advice I give to them under the chairmanship of Mr. Intim, from now till the end of the year, December 2022, all internal disagreements, conflicts in all the 275 constituencies and the external branches, they must set themselves the target that they will resolve all conflicts even before we start the process to elect who will lead the party. So that the flag bearer doesn't come and will have to now go
He
down
now has
to be resolving internal conflict in constituencies.
Right.
So this advice I'm providing to Mr. Sivayesi Intim and the General Secretary, Kodria, with the other national officers. They must, for now, up to the end of the year. If we are able to do that, so from the beginning of 2023, you will see the internal cohesion of the party going up. Okay. So that is the first condition. The second condition is government performance. And I have not hidden my views. Yes, government performance will also impact.
At this rate, the rate is 0. Government performance, let's start from 0.
Sure, but Ama, you know, we still have the next 2 years, 4 or 5 months. We have the next 2 years, 3 months, 4 months before we get to the general elections. So it is now for government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to ensure that there will be the relief for the living conditions of the people of Ghana. Yes, I know things are tough.
Very tough.
Very tough. Cost of living is high now. The basic need of every person is food. You can add the shelter and the clothing. but out the shelter, including the prominent one, is food. Every day you must eat. And we know the cost of food now because of fuel prices, which is affecting cost of transportation and affecting all that. So, and even the cost of input into agriculture is also gone high. But we have the opportunity that we can turn things around. So government performance is key, and we have known it. In the year 2000, after NDC 8 years in government and Professor Mills was then sitting vice president and a candidate, he could not make it. Then in 2008, after J. Kufuor's administration of 8 years, Nana Akufo-Addo as a minister in Kufuor's administration, and we couldn't make it, MPP couldn't make it. 2016, with former President John Mahama, NDC 8 years, he also couldn't make it. So we have seen the trend that it is not easy to break the 8. So we need strong government performance. So for the next 2 years, I think that whatever it takes for government to ensure that there's relief for Ghanaians, for the ordinary Ghanaians, in their conditions of life, in their living standards, and that will restore the confidence in the party, they have to do it. Then the third condition, and that one is fantastic, is that the party needs a new face. So that is the third condition. The party needs a new face because I've mentioned here is that there is what we call facial fatigue. NDC suffered facial fatigue in the year 2000 with Professor Mills. MPP suffered facial fatigue in the year 2008 with Nana Akufo-Addo after 8 years. NDC suffered facial fatigue with John Dramani Mahama as their sitting president and candidate. So it shows you that none of these two major parties can bring a personality in the outgoing government as a candidate, and you can break the 8. So to break the 8, the party requires a new face. And you want to ask me what should be the characteristics of the new face?
Absolutely.
One is a person who is outside the administration, the current administration. Must be a person who is unifying, so that the two pillars who are looking out into a serious...
Hold that thought. These are very important factors. I want us to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
So welcome back from that very short break. It was a technical break. So we are the very third, and for me the very important one of 3 conditionalities that the Honorable is enumerating for us, you know, for the MPP to be able to break the 8. It says there's a need for a new face for the party, you know, issues about facial fatigue and things like that. But then we are looking at the why this is important. And we are at the point of somebody who is outside of the administration, somebody who come in to unify.
Yes. So I'm just providing the characteristics
right.
that should qualify who that new face should be.
Okay.
And I said the person must be unifying,
right.
so that the 2 blocks, which the perceived 2 blocks can rally around and say that.
You mean the Island block?
Well, I have said the perceived, so the perceived,
right?
You know,
as a perceiver.
Yes. And there's a funny story that somebody told me that if 2 cows or bulls fight, it is the Fulani man who can settle the differences, right. because they understand the language of the Fulani man. Right. The Fulani man also understands right. the language of the bulls. Right. This is a funny story that was told to me by somebody in Sene district in 2014 when I was running for the first time to lead the MPP. So you need the unifier. Then the person must also be unblemished. Unblemished character, that Ghanaians will say that, look, MPP, we considered to get you out of government after 8 years. But with this person, as a new face with unblemished character, we'll give MPP another chance. And that will make us to break the 8. The person must also come with a new language, new message that is comforting. You know, right now, people are down. People need to be comforted and consoled with a language or a message that is inviting, that will say, look, there is a new hope.
Right.
And not just a rhetorical new hope, but the potential of the real new hope is there for us. And that should be the language.
Right.
Then, one of the third characteristics is that the person must have a matured age advantage. And I know some people will say this is controversial, but I am articulating my reasons or characteristics. A matured age advantage. For the immediate future of the party, which is 2024, for the medium-term future of the party, which will be 2028, and for the long-term future of the party, which will be 2032.
Right.
So you need a candidate with that matured age that can win 2024 in the unlikely, and mark my words, in the unlikely event that the party is unsuccessful, the candidate has the chance to win for the party in 2028. Right. Because we know NDC will come up with former President John Mahama. In the unlikely event that he wins, he even has 1 term. So I'm just trying to analyze the statement I made, which is matured age advantage.
Right.
And so later on you can go into the details to find out the ages.
I know that you'll be coming again, sir.
Yes.
And I'm writing these, and when you come back, we'll be analyzing all of these one after the other.
And then the last characteristics,
right,
which maybe I'm sure viewers and listeners will find it very interesting and debatable. Apart from former President Rawlings, the other 4 presidents we have had, J. Ekufuor, J.E.A. Mills, JDM, John Dramani Mahama, and NADAA, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Right.
All these 4 personalities have social science background academically. And I believe that the time has come that we must have a physical science background person to lead this nation. And in that case, somebody with engineering background, and once I say it, then I'll advocate for myself.
Absolutely.
So that we would also have the opportunity to offer the leadership to this
Let's
country.
try something new.
Not, yes, new. And we have experiences across the globe. If you take China, for instance, their former presidents or prime ministers, most of them have engineering background. And you see why? Because engineering, you are trained for precision, because you cannot afford to lose out, because that could be a major disaster.
Absolutely.
So let us offer the opportunity to the engineers and let us see their leadership.
How do
So when the engineer talks about 0.00001% of the GDP, he calculates it quickly in his mind and knows that that quantum of money can drill about 100 boreholes to 100 communities. So he will say that, look, let's look at the contractual effect of this. Let's examine the cost here. We are looking for value for money. We want economy in all our procurement, public procurement system, you know. So I'll tell you that the engineers are ready. The only thing is that most of my colleague engineers are shy and they don't want to come to the frontline politics.
They don't want to come into the fray.
To the frontline.
But we have you, sir. We have
So
the Honorable Francis Adai. Right. So let's talk about you. Let's zoom, the lenses from the party. Now let's talk about you, sir. You've been around forever within the structure, because you know the history of the party from when it started till now. Let's talk about your involvement in the party over time.
When the party started from 92 during the processes towards the formation, I was in my 20s as a student leader at KNUST. I was then the SRC president of KNUST. So, I mean, getting the student body to show interest in the affairs that led to the formation of the NPP through the Dankwa Buzia clubs and Freedom and Justice clubs that were formed around that time across the country, which culminated into the formation of the NPP. As a student leader at that time, I participated in some of the activities, on my own at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Then when we came into government under J.A. Kufuor, then I was a civil servant working at the Ministry of Roads and Highways. The success of J.A. Kufuor in the road sector, which had Dr. Anani as the sector minister, some of us were behind that success because I was performing monitoring and evaluation of all government of Ghana projects in the whole country. So that was the role. Even though as a party member, I was then a civil servant, carrying out projects under Ghana Highway Authority, projects under Department of Urban Roads, projects under Department of Feeder Roads across the country. Whether it's a consolidated funded project, whether it is a road fund project, whether it is a donor funded project, we could go and carry out monitoring and evaluation. Ensure the work is done according to specification. Payment has been done according to work done. If we came to your site and the contractor has been paid for an unexecuted job, we will recommend for the retrieval of the money.
You're in trouble. You're in trouble. At what point did you, become, actively involved in the party's activities?
Well, I had been involved right from my school days. And then after I graduated, I offered myself to practice my profession as a civil engineer
Right.
and play any role in the party on the quiet, not at the front line.
Right.
Until 2004, I planned to have gone for the primaries, you know, in my constituency, my hometown. But I abandoned it and said, let me give myself some more time. And then do my work, offer my support to the then government of J. Kufuor and as a civil servant. Then 2008, I resigned from the ministry. I resigned from the ministry at the end of March 2008 and went for the primaries at Mampong constituency on 13th May 2008. At that time, my chief director even advised me, why don't you go for the primaries? If you don't win, come back and continue and do
your job. Don't take the risk. I think we've had this conversation before.
Yes. And I said no.
Yes.
I didn't want any civil service rules and regulations to be flouted by me.
Right.
And I also didn't want to have any double mind.
Right.
And through fate, I won by a margin of 1 vote.
Right.
And then I entered Parliament. Right. In Parliament, I served my second year as a ranking member on the Committee of Environment, Science and Technology for the party. Then 2014, for the first time, I contested for the flag bearership to lead the party in that position. So I have been quiet during the period of the mid-90s, providing my support to the party wherever I worked. And then from the middle of the 2000s, all the way coming, being active in the front line of the party politics. So that is how it has been.
And in 2024, hopefully the plan is to lead the party into the
the ambition has not been truncated.
Absolutely.
I'm still pursuing the ambition. And that is why I have articulated the reasons why the party needs a new face and for the party so that we can break the 8 and then we'll have the opportunity to serve Ghana. You know. And so I'm still pushing on with my ambition.
So you are the man that is outside the administration. You are the man that's coming in to unify. You are the man with an unblemished, you know,
character.
Image. Yeah, and I like to stay here a little because some of the names that are coming up are shocking. You are the man who's going to speak the new language with a new message, who's going to be comforting. You are also the man who has the mature age advantage. And just so we are clear, it's not a man that's old, it's a man that's young, but young in a mature way, right?
Yes. We're 57 years now.
Right,
so
right. So, I mean, young enough to carry on, you know, in the subsequent elections, but mature.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
okay.
Because...
absolutely. Okay. Oh, sir, go on.
Well, and then let me also add this dimension to it, that there are two schools of thought which says that there is an imaginary queue. There is an imaginary queue. So the tradition follows a certain imaginary queue.
Right.
And which, in my opinion, there's nothing like that. Right. It's just a message. So, you know, in 2007, that was a message Nana Akufo-Addo adopted, which in our local language, they say, Yenim Ufritete.
Yenim Ufritete.
Yes. He adopted that, and it worked for him, you know. But the party has not followed any real or imaginary cue. 92, for instance, those who contested, Dr. Selby, Kwame Safuedu, they had contested with Victor Wusu in 1979. So if there was any queue to be followed, then one of them should have been the candidate then. But Professor Alberto Dubois came in, and he won.
Right.
1996, J. Kufuor also won. 1998, J. Kufuor won again. Then 2007, and then Kufuor won and maintained it for 2010 and 2014, and now he's the president. So that school of thought is nowhere written in our constitution or in our tradition that there is a real or imaginary queue. There's nothing like that.
Right. Because
then the other school of thought also is that the tradition has three main personalities of Buzia, Dankwa, Dombo. So we need, and these are the proponents of that school of thought, that we need a rotational leadership kind of for the party.
Dankwa,
so from Buzia to Dankwa, Dankwa to Dombo. And the idea is that J. Kufuor is from the Buzia enclave. Kufuor is from the Dankwa enclave. And so we must go on to the Dombo. And I debunked that one too. I say there's nothing like that. But if they really want us to look at a formula in deciding for the leadership of the party, then we need a linear leadership formula, but not a rotational leadership formula. You know, sometimes I speak as a fiscal scientist. And the linear one is that you have a straight line. So you can place Buzia at the 0 mark, then place Dankwa to the right of Buzia, and place Dombo to the left of Buzia. You can't cross or move from Dombo to Dankwa without going through Buzia. So you can also go from Dankwa to Dombo without going through Buzia. So if Buzia, through J. Kufuor, has led the party and won and formed government, now we shifted to the right and have Nana Akufo-Addo from the Dankwa enclave led the party, won, and is president. Then we should come back to the Buzia enclave before we can move on.
Now move to the Dombo enclave.
Yes. So this is my linear leadership formula that I am also proposing. Against those who are also proposing the rotational. So these two schools of thought, and I say that is why we need the new face under the current circumstances of the party. We need a new face to lead the party and break the eight.
I am waiting patiently for when the official names are presented. Then, Honorable, you please come back and we'll have, you know, a conversation around, you know, the names that come up at that time, you know. But yes, today we can speak to the fact that all of these conditions that you cite as being necessary for the MPP to be able to break the eight, all of them seem very plausible, you know, from where I sit. And you're right about the fact that a new face for the party would be a major, you know, a major deciding factor. But also the number two, government's performance. You know, because that would be internal to a large extent. But for those of us who sit outside, is the performance, you know. So let me ask you this general question: how would Francis Adainimu administration,
fan-led administration,
how different would that look from this current administration? For instance, would we go back to the free SHS, the one district, one factory? Would all of these policies, which for me, my major criticism of has been that they've been very superficial?
Well, the directive principles of state policy in our constitution enjoins every succeeding government to continue with the preceding government's programs and projects as far as practicable. It is not obligatory, but you have to look at all the programs, not just from the preceding administration, even from administrations earlier on, to see which ones that you could review and fashion to suit the current circumstances of the country and also globally. And then you can still pursue those programs and projects. Ama, there's one thing. Why should we have so many infrastructure projects uncompleted and then we abandon them? Because I have come with my own ways of doing things. So those started by my earlier predecessors, I have to ignore them. But all those projects are meant for the use of the Ghanaian people to benefit. And it is public funds which have been spent on those projects.
Absolutely.
So for me, if I'm offered the opportunity, I will make sure that all government-funded projects, whether started by Rawlings, Kufuor, J.E.A. Mills, Mahama, Nana Akufo-Addo, we have to complete them for the use of Ghanaian people. If it will take me the whole 8 years to complete all those projects, and then people will say Adenimo even didn't start any project on his own, well, that is good, because then you have completed projects that are being used by Ghanaians. Because you go to districts and projects have been left abandoned, and it is investment. If you cost the monetary investment, it is so huge.
It is in the starting of the projects that the corruption, I'm sorry, so I'm going to say, it's in the starting of the new projects that the corruption, you know, persists. I'm very happy to hear you say that you would go back to, you know,
we need to go back to the basis and make sure that we get the fundamentals right. The politics of it, we have played it for, let's say, 16 years, 32 years between the two major parties. So we should now have a different way of going forward with our politics. Not just that I want to do, I have done Kaswa interchange, I'm doing Agenda 111. In fact, no.
Because it's a whole new, you know, like I'm saying, that's where the corruption is. That's how you make money, in starting new projects. It's the truth, sir. I know that I'm speaking the truth.
So I also use my professional knowledge in procurement practices, you know, to ensure that real value for money is gotten. You know.
But most important, especially for anybody that's an MPP member or an MPP supporter, how would you want to salvage or save the image of this 30-year-old political party that used to be so strong in the past, and I dare say is presently not looking too good?
There's a fundamental obligation on every member of the party, and that is that as your duty as a member of the party, you must promote the good image of the party.
Even when there's nothing to promote?
Well, the good image of the party rests with the individuals. And then once we are in government appointees, our conduct as public officials, how do we deal with the Ghanaian people in the performance of our public duties? It will show. Do we resonate that confidence with the Ghanaian people that, look, we are delivering on this project, we are delivering on that project, we are delivering on that project, together with our personal attitude towards Ghanaians. And so there is opportunity for us to refine or to reform and to move on. It is not late in anything at all. And I know that, yes, we can make it. If even we have climbed to our apex and come down to the lowest, if we follow the sine curve in life, we have the opportunity to rise and get back to our apex again. Then we can maintain the plateau.
Absolutely, absolutely. This question that I have, it just keeps, you know, appearing, you know, like I was saying before when we started the show, the MPP is a very formidable opposition political party. But after being in government and after, you know, how do I even say this? the reviews not being so positive, would the NPP have, you know, that moral strength to come back and still be a vibrant opposition party? You know, for instance, can the NPP, like you said, you know, in the chance of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama coming back, you know, in 2024, can the NPP in opposition be that vibrant voice that would still organize demonstrations, that would criticize, that would organize lectures? Can the NPP come back and do that?
Sure, we
considering how it has fared in government.
Well, we can. I mean, we also have the J.A. Kufuor's administration to tout, the performance of that administration to tout. So, as I said, it's the leadership style, which has been seen to be different from that leadership of J.A. Kufuor from 2001 to 2008, and maybe from what we are experiencing now. That doesn't mean that the entire party, so to speak, cannot offer a new ways of doing things or a paradigm shift. We can.
But sir, forgive me, why hasn't the party led the conversation against, you know, this administration? I'll give practical examples. The NPP in the past has been known to be one that champions human rights. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you know, I was a little girl when on the day that the NPP obviously was registered as a political party. But I remember the names that you mentioned. You know, these are names that we all remember. And, you know, over time, the NPP was known to be the champion of the rights of Ghanaians and, you know, even the person of our current president, you know. So, as a political party, things are going on, you know. Clearly, all of us as Ghanaians do not like the direction, you know. Why hasn't the NPP led the conversation against, forget party, principles that it upholds? For instance, if things are happening in this administration at the NPP as a political party, like justice, something that is so crucial when it was formed, things like the right to life, like freedom, like things like that, and it's not going well, why hasn't the NPP led the conversation against? Then Ghanaians say, yes, this is a principled party, this is a party that we believe in, this is a party that champions our rights.
Well, Amma, that's why I'm saying that the party is made up of individuals. And some individuals speak their minds or our minds. I mean, personally, I have had the opportunity to call on the president for reshuffle. I mean, I'm a member of the party. So, yes, maybe the leadership of the party, whether at the regional level or constituency level or the national level, may not come out officially with any statement or any criticism. As individual members of the party on platforms, we offer our views on the ways that things are done. Because in accordance with our motto of the party, which is development in freedom, you know, we want to make sure that we follow what we have set ourselves out to do. Not only the call for reshuffle. I mean, recently, when I was asked about the length of time that the case involving the murder of former MP J.B. Dankwa Edu has happened, I said, well, it has taken so long.
So long.
Which, in my view, it could have. But one would also say it is in the bosom of the investigators and the court. So why not? So what I would say for viewers, sometimes we may not come out publicly to criticize, you know, to criticize individuals. And the criticism is not for the whole party, you see. The party is made up of many people. Maybe the conduct of one person is translated or extended to mean the conduct of all members of the party. And that one, we will not even, we don't have to buy into it. So if there's an individual whose conduct brings disrepute to the party, we can criticize that person's conduct. It brings disrepute. because then it affects all of us. If somebody's conduct is not promoting the good image of the party, yes, we have the opportunity to do that criticism. Sometimes we may not come out publicly to do, but in private, we do. And that is part of the democracy.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But for our competitors, they will do it because they are also in a rush to form the next government.
Absolutely.
So they will do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, sir, it's been great. It's been an honor as always. The MPP is 30 years today. What would be your congratulatory message to your political party?
Well, I commend all of us as members of the party, our forebears, the work they did, the first national chairman, the work that they did together with the other first national officers. We commend them. Those who have gone to their graves, wherever their souls are, they should be kept and rest in the bosom of their Creator. We are behind. We are also pursuing the ideals of this tradition to serve Ghana, to liberate the energies of the people of Ghana for the growth of a property-owning democracy with the right to life, freedom, and justice. Let us all guard all these principles and work hard for the party. Ahead of us is the 2024 general elections, and we want to set a new record. Since 1992, when we started the fourth Republican constitutional democracy, MPP has always been seen to be setting the record. So 2024, we have the opportunity to set a new record by going beyond the 8-year cycle. We can, but it requires a lot hard work to satisfy the 3 conditions that I articulated. So for party members, let us go to the basis of it. The good image of the party, keep the reputation of the party intact, promote the unity of the party, and let us embrace all. We have grown, even in areas where we are seen to be weak in terms of strength, geographically in Ghana. Let's reach out and talk to people. Even we may be at our lowest end in terms of attraction, we have the opportunity to salvage it and bounce back and win 2024. So for me, it is a happy anniversary, 30 years on. It's been a great party with the elephant and the colors red, white, blue, always shining.
Always shining, always shining. And I have to take this opportunity, sir, to say a big thank you, a very big thank you to you. You are, I mean, no words. But beyond that, you're always accessible. You're always accessible. I can always pick up my phone and call you. You will pick up, very accessible. You would even ask, on your own, how are you doing? Amazing stuff. And for me, one of the biggest criticism for this MPP administration today is the fact that it is not accessible to certain media, and unfortunately for us here at Pan-African TV, somehow we have fallen into, but I am happy that the likes of you keep shining, shining bright, always accessible to every media house. Your doors are always open. And you always say to me, Amma, bring the tough questions. Bring the tough questions. Thank you, sir. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to the MPP. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Truly African.
Welcome to Camp Trading and Farms Limited. We are the sole importers and distributors of FM World Rulong Plus Plus combined harvesters. We are the sole importers and distributors of FM World combined machines. If you buy from us, spare parts are readily available. machines can pick and harvest logged rice as well as standing rice and is 102 horsepower. FM World tractors also have 110 horsepower, which is fully hydraulic and can break hard grounds. Our rotavators is also 102 horsepower. It works perfectly in muddy areas and in lands where tractors cannot operate. World combine harvesters come with automatic gear drive, diesel power engine, 1.77 cubic grain storage tanks, 2.2 meter cutting width, 360-degree unloading pipe and sunshade, as well as 2 diesel filters. Our branches include Tamale Airport area, Accra Ritz Junction. Kindly call us on 0278 223 811 or 0550 108 899, as well as 020 1600 727. Don't buy fake, buy original. Buy from us now. Come Trading and Farms Limited, your best importers and suppliers of FM World Roulon Plus Plus combined harvesters.
Hello, information.
Madam,
Me, I have still not got the money for that list of expensive building materials you sent to me. The price of the iron rods have been increased too much, aren't
Madam, relax. Look, that's not why I even called you. I just visited IPCP, where the engineers told me everything about Trasacco fast floor.
Trawanko, please, those people are expensive. Are they not the people building those big houses in town? I beg going to catch a guy.
Madam, in fact, I used to think the same until I visited their office today, and they gave me an estimate of how much it will cost. Yomo, the estimate is real. It's cheaper than the one I even sent you.
Wow.
Building contractors, foremen, masons. Visit IPCP, the Trasacco Fast Floor. Engineers will assist you build an affordable, faster and stronger building.
Oh, madam. It is done.
Wow.
Trasacco Fast Floor. Stronger, faster and affordable.
This is a Trasacco construction product.
Welcome to Ridge Royal Hotel. In the recent light of pandemic, we are taking utmost care to ensure the safety of our guests. We have to change with the times, and the hotel industry is used to change. Ridge Royal Hotel is located at number 1 Second Ridge, Cape Coast, Ghana. For more information, contact +233 031 200 3222. Email admin@ridgeroyalhotel.com.gh. Ridge Royal Hotel, richly inviting, comfortably yours. We look forward to welcome you soon.
And don't think I decided Truman capsules and so at their brain.
I can't think of what's a good deal to me, dear Michi.
At the account, now you're bear man, like a ball.
Hey, True Man capsules. One mama ya bema bion.
True Man ye marime drew and mofra woni imfie dun watchi into me no. Sa jedi enkra to we FDA for hwemu agya tum senhye.
Trasaco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Trasaco Springs, a premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities. The gated community of Tema to Accra Motorway presents you the finest opportunity to own a land that suits your preferred size, budget, and payment terms. Trasaco Springs is open to you for development. Our on-site sales executives are ready. Call on 055 659 2658.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by FDA.
Hello, baby. It's me, Boga I. What feel you now?
Hey, what funny?
Oh, what about that?
Oh my God, what's wrong me?
I'm we are fearful for Gecko.
Brother, we are funny. Here, Ruta Life.
Okay, Ruta Life.
Ruta natural products here. I am tropical herbs here. And now what's a year? Ruta Life. But what you fat here film? No way, cleanse the system. No, my come on.
Romantic.
Kaide, Ruta mixture, autumn malaria, and a Ruta Titanic or Ruta natural. In Papa no. In Ria. On ye manimpa, on tin fidawa tree. About an hour, one benufu. On ye painful.
And don't think I decided True Man capsules and so a day bread.
I can't think of what's a good deal to me, dear Michi.
At the account, now you're bear man and a pebble.
Hey, True Man capsules. One mama ya bema bion.
True Man ye marime drew and mofra woni imfie dun watchi into me no. Sa jedi enkra to we FDA for hwemu agya tum senhye.
In previous seasons, you saw this.
You are not allowed to hawk or preach in commercial vehicles.
The perception in Ghana is abortion is illegal, and we don't follow up with the exceptions.
The existence of the customary marriage is no prerequisite
for the
ordinance marriage.
Yes. And now, are you ready for this?
Some people express the fact that they don't go on leave with pride.
Accumulated leave, like they term it, is illegal.
Because in Ghana we don't have enough lawyers, and the accused can apply for bail where he has no lawyer.
Knowing full well that you have an STI and you do not reveal that to the person and you have this sexual contact with the person, it is also part of domestic violence.
Join the Law Express panel for relevant, informative, and educative topics.
It is clear that if the court grants bail, it is the registrar of the court that has the power to deal with execution of the bail.
All matrimonial properties that are sold without the consent of the other party are actually null and void.
Hello, what are you doing Tuesday to Friday, 7:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. every day? You should be watching The Couch. I'll tell you why. On Tuesdays, we talk social issues, lifestyle health, all those everyday issues that affect us in the big ways. Late Wednesdays are for book reviews. Thursdays are for the hard talk, those socio-economic, policy-oriented, political questions that demand for the tough questions to be asked. And Personality Profiling Fridays, when we get to know the stories behind the winning personalities we love. Inspirational story from inspirational personalities. Hey, listen, you really cannot miss The Couch with me, Pratt. Still, the only TV show with a hat.
The world has changed. Now the new normal demands that countries look within to develop their capacities and make strides in getting their economies back on track. In all of this, diplomacy is now more than ever the bridge linking these nations as they forge ahead. Of diplomatic affairs, complex issues will be explained as I sit with global change makers to discuss the new phases of bilateral and multilateral relations between Ghana and its development partners. I will also pique your interest on the many enterprises that are forces to reckon with in their own rights. My name is Harriet Nati, and this is Diplomatic Affairs.
I wanna grow old by your side, all my days and all my nights.
My baby, my Valentine. Can I you to make you a temperature days? If you leave me a good time, I swear. You are like the oxygen I need to survive, I'll be honest.
I've been saying I love you, babe, but you've been gossiping about me. You know too well. I don't know where you came from, but when you get home, please tell the devil hello.
Ay, mama, shigidi, nakufa, hoy, wikidi, ay, mama, shigidi, konki, fire, moto, liquidi.
I talk to you, make you answer the dang banana, baby. Oh yeah. Come take your baby.
Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it. Shut up and bend over. Let your back do the talking over.
That's why I sip my alcohol. I don't want to reason bad things no more. I don't want to go back to where I did before. Make nobody stress me, don't disturb me, cha cha cha. I sip my alcohol. I don't want to reason bad things no more. I don't want to go back to where I did before. Make nobody stress me, don't disturb me, cha cha cha.
Truly African.